tuned into the Awakening Zone Radio Network, your news and information source for empowered spiritual awakening.
Your news and information source for empowered spiritual awakening.
I am that I am. Адамуsa of Sovereign Domain. Welcome to your awakening. Welcome to the dark side of awakening. Awakening sounds so wonderful. Oh, remember when you first realized that you were coming into awakening? It was like butterflies and chocolate chip cookies and angels, and you expected it was just going to be so golden and fluffy, and here you are. Awakening, number one, is a natural process. It's a natural process. Remember that. Awakening is not something you have to work towards. No. Awakening is nothing that you can study for. Awakening is not something that you earn points towards. It's not like collecting little punches on a card that will eventually bring you to awakening. It is a natural process. It is a totally natural process. One could say, you have already awakened, my dear. Now you are just experiencing what it was like to get there. That simple. The more you tinker with it, the more you think about it, the more that you manipulate it, the more difficult it will be. Awakening is a natural phenomena. It's already happened. Now, how do you want to experience awakening? Let's take a deep breath with that. It is natural. It occurs anyway. I'll explain more of that in a moment. Number two, awakening is not polite. It is a dragon of your creations. You created it. It will rip you apart. It will tear your head off. It will tear you apart limb by limb. It will absolutely crush you. Nobody's laughing. It's meant to. You gave it that job.
Awakening is not what?
Not polite. Awakening is a giant hammer beating down at everything that you held precious, your beliefs, your relationships, your identity. It will crush you in love, in great love. So, the beginning and the end of my discussion. Let's talk a little bit. Let's go back a little further. Let's go back to the beginning. You are a souled being. You're a soul being. What does that mean? What does that mean? Sounds nice, but what does it really mean? What is a soul? It's this simple. It's this simple. The soul, your soul, simply means I am. I am. I am simply means I exist. I exist. That's it. That simple. As I told the group yesterday, it is the truth of truths. From that simple concept, I exist, all other truths and mistruths come forth. But the truth of truths is I exist. Take a moment to feel into that. As simple as it is, very few humans will ever have this conscious realization. I exist. I am. I exist. That, my dear friends, is a phenomenal statement. An amazing statement. You could say that all that was, Spirit, God, the Eternal One, gave of itself freely, without restrictions or limitations, without any rules, in the greatest love for itself. It expressed itself through you. You have total freedom from Spirit. There were no rules. There were no books. There were no anything. Spirit said simply, I exist, so therefore I gift this to you. You exist in your own right. Totally sovereign, totally free. Feel into that for a moment. I exist. all that matters. It's the miracle. I exist. Do you realize how many humans will never in this lifetime realize that? They go through their lives. They realize perhaps that they have skin and bones because they can feel pain. They have thoughts going through their mind. But they never realize that simple, beautiful truth. I exist. I exist. I exist, so therefore I can create. Therefore I can be, I can feel, I can manifest, I can experience and expand. I can evolve. I can love myself. I exist. It's that simple. It's that simple. Now, the soul is a vessel. The soul is an empty vessel. I needed to empty this. Much like this glass. And the soul always has been, always will be. But it was like an empty vessel. The soul has always known, it is at its deepest level, that it would come to know itself. It would, as you call it, ascend. It would realize itself. So the moment it felt that knowingness, it became so. The soul, this empty glass, is filled with, will be filled with all of the potentials of everything that will ever happen to it, including all the experiences on this human journey. All potentials of also things that it would never choose to experience in human form or perhaps in angelic form. Because its potentials are not just the things that you experience, that you feel, that you live through. It is also all the alternatives, the things that you never choose, but they're still valid. They're still real. So the soul starts out as an empty vessel. A vessel, the I am, the knowingness of itself, the I exist. And then, and dear Linda, I will need a pitcher of water.
Sure.
Then, the soul, you start going on your experiences. The experiences fill the soul, fill this vessel. Thank you. Thank you. Fill this vessel. It's the experiences that you are having now as a human. The experiences fill that vessel. Bring meaning. Give it depth. Give it understanding. And just give it the sheer joy of experiencing. So what you're doing right now is filling this soul with every thought, with every feeling, with every experience that you have. And it fills the soul. And you come to a point of awakening, and everything seems to come to a standstill. You come to the point of awakening, almost afraid to cross over that threshold, to add just that next level of experience that will overflow the soul. And that's exactly what happens. The soul completes itself. Thank you. The soul completes itself, overflowing in joy and love. Back to the point that, my dear friends, you have already become enlightened. You've already woken up. You've already ascended, whatever you want to call it. Now you're just going through the experience of what it was like to get there. That's all. The interesting thing, as a being who exists as the I am presence, you can choose to experience your awakening in any way that you want. It's already happened. Now how do you want to experience it? It takes the pressure off. You don't have to worry, are you achieving it? Are you climbing up some stairway to heaven in your awakening? You can choose to experience it however you want. Take a look. How are you choosing to experience it? Unfortunately, most believe in things like karma. So they experience awakening in a karmic basis, suffering, pain, learning lessons. You don't have to. From this moment going forth, you do not have to learn another lesson unless you want. There is no karma. God, Spirit, does not know karma. Your soul does not know karma. Karma is makyo. Makyo is spiritual bullshit. There is no karma. There are no sins unless you want there to be. There is no destiny. There is none. Most humans follow a passive destiny. There is no destiny. Nowhere. Not even in astrology. Astrology isn't about destiny. There is no, I'll go one step further, there are no past lives unless you want there to be. Many of you are following a path of destiny based on your perception of your past life. Interesting to note here that the past lives that you associate with are related to the soul, but they are cousins to you. They are not you. You are the designated ascendee of the soul. Your past lives are simply other experiences of the soul that you don't have to buy into, that you don't have to make amends for, that you don't have to heal anymore, unless you want. Unless you want. Your body, your physical body, I talked about this before in many of our gatherings. The physical body is a byproduct of your ancestors. It's not yours. You inherited certain DNA, chromosomes, and other types of things. You inherited the weaknesses and the strengths of your forefathers and foremothers. You come into this lifetime with a body that is not really yours. You're renting it. It was fashioned after those who came before you. You accept it as yours. You look in the mirror and say, well, this is what I have to work with. But it's not really yours. The light body is yours. The light body has not, for the most part, been brought into your physical body yet. The light body does not know disease. It does not know imbalance. It does not know ugly. It only knows the beauty of itself. But here you and here other humans are locked up, tied up in this whole thing of awakening, struggling through it, wondering what it's about. You're using archetypical figures of the past, Yeshua, Jesus, Buddha, and many others who suffered through their awakening and through their ascension. It wasn't a particularly good ending story for Yeshua, as most of you know. Buddha suffered, denied himself the human pleasures until one day he just gave up and said, no more, no more. The moment he did that, he became enlightened, but while he was still trying to deny his humanity, he was not enlightened. So here we are, here you are, in this journey of experiencing what it is like to go into awakening and enlightenment. Searching, trying, going to different things, going to a lot of different healers, reading a lot of different books, going to a continuing stream of workshops, and it irritates Linda when I say that, but it's true. Wondering, where is this awakening and enlightenment? The interesting thing is, I won't do it right now, but in other gatherings that we've had, I said, what is enlightenment? What is awakening? Very few can really answer that question. Very few really understand what this elusive thing called awakening is. What is it? What is it? Well, many say, well, it's when my body is healed. It's when I can predict the future, when I become superhuman. I know everything. I walk around healing people like Yeshua did. That's not enlightenment at all. For one thing, Yeshua didn't walk around healing people. He did not. People were healed in his presence because of his presence. His presence was like a light, and that light shined on their potentials for them to see. But he did not do healing. He had too much compassion. Too much compassion. See, the compassionate being allows everyone else their journey. Allows everyone else their journey. Understands that. One of my favorite sayings is that all is well in all of creation. No need to heal the world. Yeah. No need to save anything. There's only one thing One thing is to love yourself. That's it. So here you are in the experience of awakening. Awakening. It can be brutal. We'll go back to that moment of awakening that many of you had. It might have been a book that you read. It might have been a class that you took. It might have been a near-death experience that occurred. But suddenly, you were into awakening, conscious awakening. Now, you've been going through the process of awakening for a long, long time, but suddenly, conscious awakening. And suddenly, you're just filled with passion and desire, and it's like, I'm awakening. You run out and try to tell everybody about the amazing cathartic experience you had in your awakening and how an angel came and talked to you, and everybody looks at you like you're very, very strange. They really don't want to hear about it. But suddenly you're in this awakening journey, and at first it's euphoric, amazing. You can feel something shifting in your body. The thoughts in your mind are different. There's a lightness. Suddenly there's hope. You're off the old human path. Suddenly you're breathing different, and you start reading all sorts of metaphysical books and going to workshops and other things, so filled with this light of awakening. It's a beautiful thing for a short period of time. During this initial part of your awakening, you're also giving birth. Giving birth, oh yes, to the obvious, to your new self, of course. You're giving birth to this thing that I call the dragon of awakening. Now, you created it. You would say you, your soul, it was a collaboration. You created this dragon. Now, dragons are amazing beings. Dragons are the very best servants that you'll ever have. Dragons breathe fire. It's like the alchemical fire, breathing that fire to shift things from one state to another. You're giving birth. You gave birth to this dragon. And whether you consciously remember or not, but you said to this dragon, I'm going into my awakening. It's the most amazing thing. The soul and I were awakening from this long human experience. Dear dragon, I give you the right to help me awaken, no matter what it takes. No matter what it takes. Remember saying that? No matter what it takes, because I want to awaken. I want to be a conscious human. So do what you have to do. Do what you have to do to facilitate my awakening in this lifetime. Most of you also said that you want to awaken and stay in your bodies. That in itself is also amazing. See, there are 9,636 ascended masters total. When one becomes an ascended master, when they become enlightened and they leave the physical body, they go off to what we call the third circle. But let's put it in simpler terms. There's an ascended masters club. And they just hang out. They have no needs or desires. It kind of sounds boring to the human aspect here who, still goes through the drama and through the lessons, but they just hang out. They have fun. They tell jokes about what it was like to be human. Tell a lot of jokes. Because it is funny once you've gotten through it. Many of you don't think it's funny right now, but later you'll tell jokes. You tell jokes. Yes, I remember that weekend that I spent at the Omni Hotel in Broomfield with Jim Self and Lee Harris and this other character. I don't know who he was, but you'll laugh about it later. Really. So, my dear friends, you've got this 9,636 ascended masters. That's all. Every ascended master in all of creation, anywhere, has come by way of earth. You don't become an ascended master off in some other planet or some other galaxy or some other solar system. There are no greater beings in all of the cosmos than the human being. There are no greater beings. Perhaps more, you could say, technologically advanced. A few, not many. But these ones that are technologically advanced, the ETs, the aliens, they are not grander than the human. Why? Well, because they've taken a path that you might call mental. They are without this real knowingness of this thing that is quite unique to humanity. It's called love. 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 Very special attribute. That's why the aliens come here. They see that you have something they don't have. They see this light emanating from you. They wonder what it is. It's love. They want it. Or they try to dissect it. They try to figure it out. They prod and they poke and they try to figure out this special thing. But love is only something that can be experienced. You cannot extract it from a being and take it, although they try. You realize that it was love that was first experienced, discovered here, right on this planet. Right on this planet. It wasn't God that knew love. God, Spirit, had no way of knowing love until you experienced it. It wasn't some alien race that had love. No, it came right here on earth. It was because of the journey that you have taken on this planet. It's because of the difficulties and challenges that you've endured. It's because of something you saw in another being in this sometimes very challenging journey here on this planet. Something that you discovered with another being. Love. Love. Right here, first time, planet Earth. Makes this place pretty special. So those of you who try to find your answers in aliens, you're not going to. It's not the aliens that are awake. It's the humans who are awakening. And that's what makes all of you so special. All of you. 9,636 ascended masters. Not many. When you consider all of the soul beings who have come to this planet for incarnations, and all of the incarnations that have occurred over the millions of years, all of the potentials for ascension, 9,636 is not so many. Most of them are names, beings that you've never heard of before, because when most beings enlighten or ascend, most of the time they also poof off the planet. They die. It's interesting because, and not to startle any of you who are just on the verge of enlightenment here, we have lost a couple along the way, but they're doing fine on the other side. They're doing glorious. At the moment of enlightenment, there is a very, very seductive, not sexual, but seductive draw to the other side. It's great up on the other side. We can do anything we want. You get cookies all the time. You never get fat. You can have sex all the time with yourself or with others. It doesn't matter. It is wonderful. So there's this very seductive draw. Suddenly you're released from this physical body, which really creates a lot more pain than you're even aware of right now. Suddenly you're in enlightenment. You're released of your beliefs, which are really painful. Well, for me, not necessarily for you, really painful for me to watch your beliefs. You're released from all of that. You're released from the bondage of incarnation, the bondage of your ancestors, the bondage of past lives, and all the rest of that crap that you've been carrying around. Suddenly you're released. Why would you want to stay on earth in that body that hurts a lot? Why would you want to stay on earth when you have ex-husbands and ex-wives and children who don't appreciate you? Why would you want to stay here when you had a crappy job? So there's this very seductive magnetic pull that brings you to the other side that says, come on over here, you don't have to contend with any of that. But yet, there's a new trend taking place. Embodied ascension. Staying here by choice. Now, when you hit that, the defining moment of enlightenment, you're going to be faced, yes, there'll be all sorts of white lights, lovely music all playing, there'll be a parade for you, and there'll be a banquet afterwards. You're going to come to the point of having to make a decision, having to make a choice. Stay or leave. Stay or leave. Right now, sitting here in these chairs, you're saying, well, of course, Адамуса, of course I'm going to stay, because you don't want to die. But when you enlightenment, you hit that moment of that cosmic consciousness breakthrough, sheer enlightenment. Suddenly you're like, I don't know, you're kind of halfway between living and dead, kind of in that in-between zone. And there'll be some beings trying to encourage you to come to the other side, some beings trying to encourage you to stay here. But suddenly you have a choice. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Of course, sitting here right now, you say, well, of course I'm going to stay because I don't want to die. But you're also already kind of dead in that interesting point of enlightenment. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Only a handful have ever made it to enlightenment, 9,636. Only a very few have stayed. Only very few. Now, of those 9,636, approximately 1,600 now, since July 2009, some of them have reincarnated for one reason, as Linda and Jeffrey told you before, one reason to come back here and just enjoy life. Just enjoy life, not to save the planet, but to literally enjoy all that life has to offer. There is nothing like being in physical body, having a great meal, drinking good wine, going out to the ocean, doing all these very wonderful sensual things, but without the guilt, without the shame, without the restrictions, without all the mind junk that has gone with it before. So they're coming back for the sheer enjoyment of life. It should be a sign to all of you. It should be a sign that starting from this moment, start enjoying life. Stop fighting it. Stop trying to figure it out. You never will figure out life, ever. Not meant to be figured out. Never figure out God. Life, God, you are just an experience. That's it. Should be a pretty clear message. How are we doing on time?
Time.
It's time. Should be a pretty clear message, my dear friends, to start enjoying life. That's the real challenge I want to put before you before we go on break. To enjoy life without the garbage. That's kind of a definition of ascension or enlightenment. Enjoy it without the guilt, without the past. You know, one thing about the past history, his story, her story, the past is a lie, an absolute lie. From your perception, from your mental perception, you look at something that happened in the past, 20, 22 years old, something bad happened to you. You're still carrying around. It's not what happened to you. It is not what happened to you. You say, but yes, Адамуса, I can see, I've got the photographs that happened on this day. This is what happened. Excuse me? It's not. It's what your mind remembers. The mind focuses on drama and trauma because the energy gets frozen, stuck, locked in place. So the mind remembers that one thing that maybe the human aspect experiences, but it didn't see the beauty of the entire event. There is a spiritual side. There are other facets of that event, other things that happened as a result of it. But no, you focus on what bad thing happened to you, and you still carry it around. That's a lie. Because there was so much else that happened. within that event, it was a total ball or scope of potential. You remember a sliver of it. That's what you carry around. And literally, those moments, those traumas and dramas define your reality because you believe they're true. Then you put that out as your destiny. You live tomorrow as you have lived today with your guilts and wounds and everything else. And you perpetuate it. By the way, it's so easy to be a psychic about human activities. So easy. Any of you can do it. Because it's like the weather. Weather, chances are 66% of the time, the weather tomorrow is going to be like today. 66% of the time. Chances are that your tomorrow is going to be exactly like today. You're going to struggle through it. You're going to be lacking in abundance. You're going to have health issues. You're not going to be happy with yourself. And you're going to be wondering when the great big angel is going to come down and make things goody for you. Tomorrow is going to be like today. Tomorrow you're going to be sitting in another workshop, not literally, but metaphorically. You're going to be sitting in another workshop saying, where's the answer? Who's the next guru? Who's the next teacher? And my dear friends, that cycle has to end if you're going to awaken. Has to end. We have to disconnect from it. We have to pull the plug. And I hope I'm irritating some of you regarding it because that's what it takes sometimes. You live in a state of hypnosis. Hypnosis. Every human is hypnotized to one degree or the other. You like to think you're free, but you are not. You like to think that you have free will, but you gave it up a long time ago. You walk around in a state of hypnosis. And when that state of hypnosis gets so difficult to live with, what do? I'm not speaking to you. I'm speaking editorially to humans. What do? You take medications, and now you have chemical hypnosis on top of psychic hypnosis, and it is a very lethal combination. You take these medications, and I've been told not to talk about them in public, but we need to address them. These medications will mess up your awakening. They trick the mind into believing things that are not true. They put a blanket on your awakening. They take away the natural rhythms, the cycles of awakening. And there are ups and downs of awakening. There are. But you go on these medications to feel better. All you're doing is flatlining yourself. All you're doing is a chemical hypnosis on your brain. Awakening. Awakening is about going out of your mind. Doesn't mean a breakdown of the mind, but it means going out of your mind. Since at least the Atlantean times, the humanity has lived in a mind fog, a mind condition. Everything has been through the mind. Very little true, real feeling. Once in a while you get a little breakthrough, a real feeling that's not just an emotion, but a real sensory experience. You go, oh, this is phenomenal, fantastic. And then you sink back into the hypnotized state of being. The funny thing is you're awakening. You had that inspiration. You had that breakthrough. And the real question about awakening is, can you do breakthrough without breakdown? You had that breakthrough, that moment of inspiration. You birthed a dragon, and you gave that dragon the right to crush you, if need be. And it's doing a pretty good job. And here you are in awakening, and you're trying to do it from your mind. You're trying to do it from your mind. You're trying to get out of your mind from within your mind. It will not work. It will not. We need to go out of the mind, out of the belief systems, out of the destiny, out of the structure, out of the hypnosis. That's a big task. That's a big task. That's a frightening task. But I can tell you that a few others have come before you, 9,636. They made it. And I can tell you that a few actually did and stayed in the human body. Kutsumi stayed in the human body for at least 24 years after his enlightenment. I state in mind for a few years. You, my dear friends, have the potential to stay in the human body for many, many years after. You will actually never die the human death. You will simply walk out of your body when you feel the time is right. You will not die of disease. You won't die of some freak accident. You won't die simply of age. There will come a point as an embodied, awakened master where you simply walk out. You will leave no bones or flesh behind, because even your biology, the aspect that you call your physical body, is totally integrated with you. You simply walk out of the human experience. So with that bright and sunny news, let's take a short break, very short, because we have much to talk about. I am that I am, Adamus, in service to you. I am that I am, Adamus of sovereign domain. Let us continue our discussion after your brief break. I exist. I exist. Nothing more, nothing less is needed. I exist. I'm here. I can live, I can feel, I can experience that. That is the key, my friends. I exist. Here you are existing as a human on this planet. Why are you here? Good question. Why are you here? Certainly not from some of the religious perspectives. You were fallen angels or wayward or have to work your way back up to heaven. Not at all. None of that. You're here by choice. You, soul being, chose to come here to earth to experience. That's it, just to fill the glass with experience. There are no lessons in this glass. There's no karma in this glass. It is just about experience. Angels are sensual beings at their core. They love experience. They love diving deep into any experience. The deeper, the better. And Earth certainly is a deep experience. You took a reality called your third dimension. It was infused with life force energy. It was infused with, on this planet, with the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom and the sky and the water and the ground. What a great playground for a sensual being. Not just to observe from the outside, not just to ponder, but to dive right into and swim around and see how deep they can go, and all the time filling that vessel of the soul. You know, the soul and spirit love experience. Just because it's sensual, because they can. There's no judgment in it. There's no right or wrong in it. It's just diving in and playing with the experience, seeing what it's like. The soul loves to expand. It loves to just expand itself, continually to evolve and to grow, not trying to reach any particular goal, but just to expand because it can. You can. The soul, it loves to express. God loves to express. Sing out the joys of existence. Loves to express, so therefore the human loves to express through creativity, making things, express through singing, through dancing, just to express. I am that I am, just for the sake of it. Not necessarily for money or fame, but just for the sake of saying I'm alive yet another day. Express. expression. What a beautiful thing. I've told groups before that art will save the world. Art, the creativity within. When humanity gets to that point where they can stop the wars, stop playing the money game, stop all these dramas, and just be in it for the art of living. What an amazing thing. You see, the angels, such sensual beings, they dive in. They drink in this experience of being on the planet. So much so, it's like living within the painting that you painted. Not just painting it, not just appreciating it, but saying, I'm going to go dive right in and play in there. That's what you did when you came to Earth. So many of you have seen how deep can you go. I love a good alcoholic because somebody has to go to the darkest of the darks to find how deep is that abyss. Oh, and it can be hell for them it can be fun going through it, hell trying to get out. But somebody goes into that. You, my dear friends, have gone into some very deep spaces just for the sake of experience. And then you feel guilty about it, and then you have to get a lot of processing and go through all that, and processing just makes you go deeper into it. But you've done so many of the things that you did just for the sensual experience. So you come to Earth, you take on the physical body, you live within your painting, you live within your art form. You get so lost within it because that's the only way to ultimately experience it. If you always had the safety net, if you always had a rope attached to you and you could just pull on any time, pull on 3 times and they lift you out of here, it wouldn't have been quite so much fun. It would have been still just dabbling in it, but you wanted to dive into it without any nets, without any safety cords. Dive so deep that you actually began to believe it. Some of you say you got lost in it, but you never really did. You dived in so deep that you became part of it. What an amazing journey. Do you realize of all the soul beings in all of creation, how few have ever had this type of experience? We come to a certain point where you say, I've had enough experience. Come to a certain point and say, we need to awaken, come out of this amazing experience. We need to come back together with the realization, the conscious realization that you are and always have been the soul. You're not removed. You're not just the human aspect. You play out the game of human aspect, but you're not. You're the soul incarnate. So you come to the point of awakening. Some of the ascended masters would say it's out of sheer boredom now because you keep going through these repetitious cycles and you just want to get out of it. Some would say that you've filled the glass so full now it's overfilling. You've completed, and now overfilling that glass is also being in the constant state of loving self. Loving self. And it's hard for most humans to imagine how you can love yourself and keep falling in love with yourself. Like one constant spiritual orgasm. Just every breath you take, it's falling in love with yourself again. Actually, for humans, it's a little bit of a awkward feeling because you're taught not to love yourself, not to touch yourself, none of those things. Love other humans, serve other humans, never do it for yourself. That is a lie. Because the ascended being, every breath is falling in love with themselves. Every breath is loving the creations that you've created. So you start on this awakening journey. You had something in this lifetime that triggered it. A book, a class, an experience, something that triggered it. It's been actually leading up to that for a while, but now you are in awakening. And you can't unawaken. You've tried. I saw you. You've tried to unawaken, but you cannot. What you know, you cannot unknow. You birthed this dragon. And you say, is that literal or metaphorical? Both. It's there. May not always have dragons are good at changing form. So it will change form often. Sometimes it will be a loved one. Sometimes it will be what seems to be an outside experience. But this dragon is there. You have this preliminary awakening experience filled with its enthusiasm, its hope. What do? Well, you tend to go back to your old ways. The patterns, their hypnosis that have been in place for a long time. And you have a lot of misperceptions about awakening and about ascended masters. You think all ascended masters walk around in funny clothes and sandals and do kind of this type of thing, have halos. A very old concept. One of my passions is to work with you so we can develop the new style for the ascended master. What is not only what they dress like, but how do they act? What do they do? Where do they hang? Well, what do they participate in? But that's a whole nother workshop class discussion. So what happens? Well, you tend to fall back into your everyday life, waiting for the next thing to happen, waiting for the next moment of enlightenment, which, by the way, you can't really recreate. You try to recreate that incident, that moment of awareness and consciousness, but you can't. Why? Because it's coming from your mind. You're trying to recreate it in your mind. You can't. Then you get frustrated, you get lonely, you get depressed, you get angry, you go to therapy, and here we are. What happens in awakening? Well, there's a dark side to it, but in that dark side is also a light. There is also a light to awakening. I forgot to put that in the subtitle of my presentation. What happens? Well, there's common things, and maybe all of these haven't happened to you, but some probably have. It starts with relationships. Relationships. Yes. Because, you see, your resonance is changing. Your entire consonance is changing. Suddenly, you're on a new path, a different direction. So what's going to happen to a spouse? Spouse is karma. 99.99% of the time, you marry somebody because you have a karmic connection. Oh, we found each other again. Good, we can continue with our karma. So suddenly, that spouse and that karma with the spouse is no longer relevant. That spouse suddenly sees that something is going on with you. Can't feed off of you the same way they've been feeding off of you. And you can replace spouse with children, parents, or anybody else. Most relationships are karma, based on karma, past life, agreements, and all the rest of that. So that starts to change. You're accused of everything, being in a cult and being so selfish. Yeah, suddenly it's all about you. Well, damn right, it should be about you. Duh. You're selfish. You spent good money to come here. You're taking time away from your responsibility for your selfish endeavors. What is it you strange people do there anyway? Your relationships with your friends start to fall apart because you just can't sit and sip coffee and talk about stupid things anymore. You can't go through talking about gossip or things that are irrelevant or even world events, because the world events are what they are and you're not going to solve them and you don't care anyway. You don't. You know, and I've talked to groups before, and pardon me, no, don't pardon me, that was Colliger saying that. I've talked to groups before, and I'll say it again. You spent many life as being energy servants, energy holders for the planet, and doing good things for the planet as part of the progression of your experience. And you still have that kind of ingrained in you. You have to save something. How about yourself? But you have to save something out there. You're having a hard time with this new role. You know, others have filled in. Others are dolphin savers and redwood tree savers and all the rest of that, and these are good things. You're here for enlightenment. This world needs just five embodied masters. Hopefully we have 10, 12. Do I hear 15? They need to see you. They don't need to see an angel. They don't need to see a spook like me. They need to see you enlightened. Yeah. So you've kind of moved it up a notch. You've ratcheted up. You're no longer the energy holders, world savers, and all the rest of that good stuff. It was a great job back then. You did it in the monasteries. You hid out in caves. You did a lot of chanting, oming, portal opening, and all the rest of that crap. But now it's about your enlightenment. It's all about you. That's a good thing. Enlightenment, embodied enlightenment. Please, ladies and gentlemen, angels and everybody else, please love yourself. Be self-full. You'll be accused of being a bad mom and all the rest of that stuff, but be self-full. So the relationships go to hell. Suddenly you're lonely. Now, some of you haven't had that. Don't push it. It'll happen on its own. Suddenly you're alone. Like, why am I alone? Is there something I did? Forgot to take a shower? Is it all these weird thoughts? No, it's totally natural. Why? Because after eons of time of taking care of everybody else, it's time for time with you. You've created this great big blank space in your life without a big relationship, so you could have you. One of the most common questions I'm asked is, Adamus, when is the partner of my life going to show up? When am I going to have that new energy relationship? Excuse me, you've got it. It's with you. Sorry if it's a little boring, but it's with you. It's time to love yourself. Your dragon's done a magnificent job of clearing out all the rest of that stuff so you could be with you. Now, the reality is, once you love yourself, you can love others and be loved in a way you have never experienced before after you love yourself. So the dragon comes along now. And the dragon spreads its fiery breath all over your physical body. You get colds and flus like you've never had before. What's wrong with me? You say, I'm a spiritual being. Why am I getting sick? I must not be doing spirituality right. No. Because of these colds and flus and other things that are going on in your body, particularly stomach issues and those type of things, you are clearing. Could you just let yourself clear? Could you let that? Don't you go and medicate the colds and the flus. Let it happen. It is clearing out a lot of junk. If you could see what all that junk looks like, you would never eat again. Not because of the food, because there's so much junk that was in there. That's being cleared out. Then you get body aches and pains. Why? Simple. You are reworking, redoing, remodeling your DNA and even things that are at a simpler level. Something called the aniatron, which is your body's communication network, which you've totally ignored. You're redoing all that. So your body's going to go through a lot of changes. And it's going to get sick, and it's going to, the bones are going to hurt, and you're going to wake up in the middle of the night with either phantom pains or night sweats, and you blame it on going through menopause. No, it is menopause. Spiritual, metaphysical changes in your body. You're redoing your body. You're making room for your light body to come in. You freak out because you get things like a diabetes. Well, diabetes, duh. You don't love yourself. A sweetness problem. All these things are so simple. Anytime you get any sort of illness, anything, it's telling you something is out of balance. That's all. It's not a curse. It's not because you're weak. It's not because you haven't gone to the right healers. Your body is saying, hey, let's do a little change. You know what to do? Don't freak out. Listen to the body. Hear what it's telling you. Hear how it is going through a reconstruction. Hear how it's saying, hey, we need a little bit more balance here with masculine, feminine. Actually, we need the masculine, feminine to come together and go beyond masculine, feminine. The body is saying, with things like cancer, got a lot of anger built up there, a lot of anger in that body that's cancer, a lot of anger in there. What are you going to do to release it? What are you going to do to release the anger? You're going to try to be a nice person. It doesn't work. You release anger by letting it out, by blurting it out, by doing something crazy. You do it by letting that anger out. You don't have to direct it at another person, but you can let it out. But what you try to do, because you try to be polite, and awakening is not polite, you try to endure it. You try to be nicey to it. You try to throw a little angel sparkle on it. Doesn't work. You got anger. You got cancer. You got to let it out. You got some issues that haven't been addressed. You're not going to resolve the issues by going through a lot of processing. Processing is mental. Processing gets you deeper into the problem. Modern psychology is so mind-based that it keeps you in the mind. You have to go out of your mind. Let go of that anger. Go scream out in the woods or something like that. Doesn't mean you have to become violent, but release that anger. Whatever that issue is that you're holding on to, emotional or physical, I will tell you right now, it's not yours. It's not yours. Now, you'll argue with me for it. So, oh, yes, it is, because I did this bad thing and because of this, that, or the other. It's not yours. It's an interesting thing in this new energy. Very, very easy, simple thing. The only thing that is yours is what you choose. Nothing else. Nothing else. The only thing that's yours is what you choose. You don't have to hold on to old issues, bad memories, guilt, shame, or any of that. So I ask you, as I've asked other groups before, why do you? Why do you? Well, you say, because I don't know how to get rid of it, because it's tied up in all my Akashic records. There are no Akashic records, please. Really? Really? Do you think there's some big hard drive in the sky that keeps track of everything? God doesn't care. That's simple, and that's the good news. God does not care about the little incidences. What happened February 22nd, 1987 does not care, neither does your soul. Has no desire to know about the details. It's only the human mind that puts value on it. The soul only cares about the experience. Spirit only cares that you're happy, you're filled with joy. None of the details matter. From this moment on, you can choose what you want. Really. Don't go into the past. Oh, the past, that's a scary place because you believe in it. What is yours is what you choose. That's the amazing thing about being the creator. You can create anything you want. You don't have to carry around old crosses on your back. So this dragon flies in and it touches the body and gets you panicked and you wonder what's going on and you think you're going to die and you go through all that and it has some value because then you assess your life, but then you tend to get even more confused about things. But you got this dynamic change going on within you. Whether you embody that change in this lifetime or wait until next lifetime, you're preparing yourself for your new light body. A lot of you go, oh, I'm never coming back to this planet again. That's okay. But how about then embodying the light body, embodying your divinity, your simplicity in this lifetime? What a concept. Next, that dragon, that fire-breathing dragon comes in and totally messes up your finances. I mean, really messes up. You squandered this little nest egg, and you got a little money, you got a little retirement, and you think you might be comfortable, and suddenly, it's gone. Big bill to pay wipes you out. Or the company you work for goes bankrupt, no more retirement, or the market crashes, who knows what. But it happens. Suddenly, nothing. And you're like, this awakening sucks. I was doing better before. I had more money, my health was better, and I had a relationship, all of which sucked. But you're suddenly going, I don't know about this awakening thing. And now Адамуса tells me I can't turn back. Oh boy, what am I going to do? Actually, the money thing is interesting, and I'm glad that it happened. No, I really am. And Linda's over here like making her eyeball rolling looks. It had to happen for a variety of reasons. One, you identified yourself with your money. Not so good. Number two, you were a little too comfortable, even though it's amazing. Humans, they get just enough. Back in the old days, I hate that saying. Back in the old days, it was that the rulers never gave the servants and the peasants enough. What did they do? Rebel, cut off Marie Antoinette's head, and all those other bad things. The power beings of Earth finally got smart and said, hang on a second, let's give them, instead of not enough, let's give them just enough. Let's give them a little paycheck that barely pays the bills. Let's give them a little circus and bread. Let's give them some football and pizzas. That'll keep them happy. That'll keep them, they'll bitch and moan once in a while. But basically, they're not going to be too lazy to get off their pizza asses and do anything about it. So they're going to sit there and they're going to talk about a better world. And it won't happen. They got smart. Just barely enough to get by. But you're getting by. And you get the fear, what if I lose that little bit that I have? I won't be getting by. Well, that's what the dragon did for you. Came in and had you declare bankruptcy, wiped you out. You don't have a decent car. You barely scrape together enough money to... I'm not picking on anybody in particular. But the light in it, the goodness in it is, first of all, it got you out of identifying yourself with money and jobs and things like that. Secondly, and this is a whole nother discussion which I'd be happy to give, the monetary system of the world is a farce. It collapsed a long time ago. It's operating right now simply on trust. It's backed up by nothing other than trust and I'll be so bold as to say some lies and deceptions. It's not even, there's hardly ever cash in your pockets anymore. It's all done on debit cards and everything else. Oof, it's a mess. That's good. It was time. There is a new system that's coming into place, and it's not through banks, and it's not through powerful corporations. There is a new, you could call it economic energy system that is coming into play. I've talked about it just a little bit. I won't go into it today, but it is a way for your abundance. Eventually, yes, it will make your bank account go up, but that's irrelevant. It is about your abundance. It is so simple, so easy that you're not going to believe it. But it's true. There's a whole new energy system for this planet that's coming into play. And it's not coming from alien beings or Washington, which are kind of the same. It's coming from each and every one of you. And I've been being asked for a long time to give my abundance class, and I'm just teasing, working up to it, but we'll do it. I can tell you right now, abundance, you want abundance, there is more energy available on this planet than ever before. So much energy that the energy that's actually needed to operate this planet, if you would imagine it as a single grain of sand, the energy that's truly available is like an entire mountain. You could imagine just one little speck of energy is all that's needed for this planet, but yet there's a mountain of energy. How many billions and trillions of these specks are available? There's more than enough. There's more than enough. Abundance, your abundance, is in direct relationship to your passion to live. Period. Now, the mind races and says, but how am I going to get the money? It doesn't matter. It's going to be there. The energy that comes in to serve you is in direct relationship to your passion and desire to live. You say, well, I'm broke. I say, you probably aren't sure you really want to be here. You're probably standing right on that line. I don't know if I want to live or die. I don't know if I'm awakening. I don't know if I'm going deeper into the abyss. I don't know what I'm doing. Well, energy is pretty literal. It responds. It says, you don't know? Okay. We'll hold off for a while until you decide you want to be here. You want to live full out, wide open, as the I am. You want to exist in its most passionate, expressive state of being. Money simply piles in. That's simple. That's simple. So this dragon comes into your life and it takes away your jobs. You didn't like the job anyway. And again, I'm going to make Linda uncomfortable, so I'm going to hide. But if you're working for someone else and you don't enjoy it, which most of you don't. If you're working for somebody else, my dear friends, that dragon is going to come in and pull that job away from you. You get fired, or the company will collapse, or whatever. The jobs, careers are the type of thing that will really get you in the rut. Now, if you're working for yourself, you're working for a company like Crimson Circle that you really enjoy working for. Was I politically correct in that? If you just love working for the Crimson Circle like Bonnie does, it's a different story. But if you're just in a job, just to get a paycheck, you are so screwed. And that dragon's going to come after you. It will take that job away. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Now, you panic and say, how am I going to make a living? Well, by breathing. Really, by just breathing, it will come to you. Something amazing. And maybe not a job, maybe something else, but it will be there. You know, one of the worst traps, I mean, this is my definition of miserable life. Somebody created, there's two things actually, mid-management jobs. That is like the curse. That is like purgatory in the career world. Yes, I'm in a mid-management job. Why don't you just say you're a boring schmuck and, in a mid-level management job? Means you do nothing. You shift some papers, you go to some meetings, you talk on the phone. You're not creating anything. You're not producing anything. You're trying to remain stable in a very rocky ship. You're trying to keep your job. Yes, I'm a mid-level manager. Oh, I'm so sorry. And mid-level managers, what do? They live in cubicles. Oh, really? You and spirit and the angels did not create this planet with its animal kingdom and its mineral kingdom and its diva kingdom to sit in a cubicle in a mid-level management job. Please thank that dragon for making you lose your job. Then the dragon comes in, the worst of all. These others are just warm-up act. This dragon comes in. You know, you created the dragon. It knows you better than you know you. It knows your weaknesses. It knows your soft spots. It knows all of your buttons. It knows your deepest, darkest fears so well. This dragon comes in and it goes right after your self-worth. Right after your a sense of identity with yourself. And it starts. It's fire breathing all over it. You start doubting yourself. And that's probably a good thing. You start doubting the belief systems, the way you've been creating your life. But the problem is you go through mental torment. And then you fight for it. You try to fight the dragon. You cannot, and you cannot win. You try to outsmart the dragon. It's you. How can you outsmart it? You try to battle it. You get out your sword of truth, and it just laughs at you. It pulls out the gun, like in Raiders of the Ark. Shoots you. It's like, a sword? Really? In this day and age? Really? A sword? This dragon goes into your dreams, and it torments you. It goes into your belief systems and makes you take a look at them. It goes into your goals and plans and desires, because goals and plans and desires are of humans for humans, but they are not for ascended beings. Goals and plans are basically ways of limiting yourself. So many of you still operate with goals and plans. Let them go, please, or the dragon's going to take them away. This dragon goes deep, deep inside. It forces you into abysses, into fears that you would have never on your own gone for. It forces you to look at yourself in ways that is repulsive, frightening, despicable, forces you to look at who you are. You see, because part of the hypnosis, part of the deep dive into the experience has been creating identities of yourself that you actually believe in. Interesting. Now, I'm a great advocate of acting. I'm acting right now. I'm a great advocate because acting, you act, you play out a role. It allows you, first of all, to see how pompous this other act that you call yourself was. And acting allows you to break out and say, I exist, therefore I can create any role I want. I can act any way I want. I love acting. The problem is, in this role that you're playing, you got to believe that it was real, that everything else is an act. This role that you're playing, the human identity, is but an act, is but an experience. So the dragon comes in to try to show you, hey, it's just an act. Interesting, expressive, all the rest of that, but it's just an act. It's time to move on. Time to get back into the I am, back into the I exist, back into the creator of self. So after you've had your battles, your forays with this dragon, you tried everything, this dragon has you running down the pathway to enlightenment. Oh, finally, we're making some progress. You're on your way to enlightenment, running down that path, looking behind you because that dragon is about to rip your head off. Yes, I know it's a bit expressive, exaggerant, but it's what it does. Rip your head off, meaning get you out of your mental state of being. That's the trap. The mind. You think from within your mind to get out of your mind, and it simply doesn't work. So the dragon will bite your head off. So now you're running down the path towards enlightenment. It's up ahead. You can smell it. You can feel it. You know it's there. It's a deep feeling. You have dreams about it. You're on your path for enlightenment. When suddenly there's a distraction off to the side. Lights are flashing and glowing. There's a huge feeling of attraction somewhere right, just a little bit off the path. And I got to check that out before I go any further, because it's calling to and it's saying, over here. This is how you get to enlightenment. You have to detour through here. As you get closer, you get off the path of enlightenment just a little bit. You get closer and you see the big sign. A big sign. It's a shopping mall. It's called Makio Heights Shopping Mall. And it's right there. Oh, and you think to yourself, if you would have kept on running down this path, you would have missed it, because right here in this shopping mall is everything you need for enlightenment. Now, for those who don't know, Makio is an old Zen term. Makio means spiritual distraction. Spiritual distraction. I also call it just plain old spiritual bullshit. And I say that the person is the least enlightened the closer they get to enlightenment. Least enlightened. The closer you get to that threshold of enlightenment, the less enlightened you really are. Why? Because there's so much Makio. Oh, we go to workshops around the world and they bring it in by the cartload. They have to hire trucks, semis to bring in their Makio into my workshops. So here you are running down the path, distracted. Makio Mall. This is where I find the answers. This is Mecca. No, it's not. It's a big damn distraction. But you go there anyway, even though I tell you it's just a distraction. It's an illusion. And you go in, you walk in the door. You see all these peaceful people. Namaste. They welcome you at the door. Really. They don't even know how to spell it, much less what it is. You walk into this mall, into this filled with stores, filled with goods, and you're like, finally, I've made it. Here's a little shop right over there. They sell herbal remedies. Oh, that's what I need. And they have an herbal remedy. They have one for comfort, and they have another one for ascension, and they have another one for syphilis, and they have one for everything you could imagine. And you stock up. You don't have any money. Of course, you lost your job because you were a middle manager, but you stock up on herbal remedies, and you go home and insert them in your ears and in all the other orifices in your body, and you put them into water, and you smoke them, and then you get sick. And you know what? That dragon, not even having to chase you anymore, that dragon is just sitting there laughing, breathing a little fire. I'm just going to catch my breath as a dragon does. What happens when a dragon catches its breath? Inhales flames, I guess. Never thought about it before. And you're walking through the mall, and the next thing, oh, there's a shop over here, crystal amethyst beds. My body's been hurting. Good Lord, I am in heaven with all of these ascension devices. And you go and lay on the bed, and it hurts because it's crystal amethyst stones. And the crystal amethyst stones that are embedded into this bed are going, what the hell are these humans doing? But whatever. And there was some smoke that's blown into the room and some Makio music. Oh, there's a lot of Makio music. Oh, namaste. And you're laying on the crystal amethyst bed going, I wonder if it's really doing any good, but I better believe it has because I paid $300 for this 90-minute session, and it better be good. And you walk out of there, and your body's more screwed up than ever because you have this thing in your body. It's called an aniatron. It's the communication network in your body. Keeps everything balanced, healthy, regrows limbs if you want. But when you're infusing it with crystal amethyst and medications and everything else, that aniatron, like the dragon, goes, okay, well, we'll just wait it out. Maybe one of the days the humans will trust in this aniatron, trust that we automatically heal the body. You don't need all this other crap. It's already done. But as long as you believe that you have to have this stuff, fine. So you're walking through the shop. Next one, the crystal shop. The crystal shop. Big crystals, little crystals, round ones, square ones, every possible color. The Makio sales manager, who happens to be a middle-level manager, says, yes, we have a crystal. Hang on a second, follow me. This crystal, I can feel it's calling out your name. It's actually calling out your dollars, but it's calling out your name. It has your resonance. Here, we're going to tune it to your frequency. Here, hold the crystal. Don't you feel yourself healing right away? Of course, like an idiot who's hypnotized, you say, oh, yes, I feel the energy, I think. Okay, I'll buy it. And now you buy the crystal. Crystals are really cool. I like crystals. I lived in one for 100,000 years. I should like them. Crystals used to hold energy for the planet. Yeah, energy, cosmic energy. Crystals are a storage and distribution device. For a long time, it's what powered the planet, long before electricity. The Atlanteans used them. They knew how to work with the frequencies that were in the crystals to do things like moving huge stones. So crystals have some inherent value, but they're not going to make you awake. They're not going to enlighten you. And a long time ago, the real energy's faded from the crystals. That's a whole other discussion. But that crystal is not going to do it for you, really. They're pretty to look at. Linda has them all around the house. And she wears crystals, yes, as well. But it's not going to heal you. So you walk out now, you've got all these herbal remedy devices. You've been on the crystal amethyst bed. You're carrying a very large crystal now with you. You go down to the Makio bookstore. Oh, it's crowded in there, very crowded. Oh, you're in heaven. There are tens of thousands of titles in this Makio bookstore. Oh, you're finally home. Here's a book right here on the bookshelf. Conversations with Makio. Oh, I finally found. Please. Oh, I finally found it. Oh, here's another book, The Power of Makio Now. Yes, I'm going to read that and get all enlightened. And there's another book here. Yes, The Celestine Makio. Oh, I'm in heaven. I'm in heaven. I found the book with all the answers. title after title after title, my dear friends, of interesting information, but also a lot of makyo. Now, here's the funny thing is, the books aren't necessarily makyo. The reader is. The reader is. The reader is going there saying, maybe this book, maybe I'll find the answers in here. No, the book is right here. It's already written by you and your soul. It's pretty good. It's a bestseller. The book is here. It's not there. The titles, all this makyo that you find in the store are your distractions. Are your distractions. You go through this mall and it is filled with healers beckoning you over. Come, I feel your energy. I can tell that, yes, there's a new lover coming into your life. That's the greatest one. Zip, you're over there, you're getting a reading. Readers, psychics, some of them very sensitive. Most of them don't understand what the hell they're reading. When one does a reading for another person, a true reader sees the potentials. There is no destiny. You cannot say that 5 days from now something is going to happen to you. Or at least you would have to preface it by saying, many things could happen to you. You, creator, you choose now. There's no one thing that's going to happen. No reader, no medium can ever, should ever tell you this or that are going to happen. They should be perhaps helping you to see the potentials for your life, the grandest potentials, but not telling you what's going to happen 3 or 5 years down the road. But yet you're in this mall now, you're so deepened into, you're so enamored with all of the shops, and there's a shop over here that sells makyo water. Drink this water, you're gonna heal your body, you're suddenly going to become enlightened, and you buy gallons of it and it gives you diarrhea, which you probably deserve, but you get lost in this. Distractions, makyo. When if you'd have just gone a little further down that path of enlightenment, just come up to the threshold and taken the step over, you'd be enlightened. But no, you're shopping. You're over here shopping. Yes. Enlightenment is natural. There's no timing on it. There's no progression. You have to learn this before you learn that, before you can be enlightened. None whatsoever. A lot of you are standing right at the threshold of enlightenment. Standing right there, but not taking that step. Why? Why? Well, first of all, you're blocking the damn doorway. There's a lot of people behind you. You're blocking the doorway. So either get enlightened or step out of the way. But I ask, why are you standing there at the threshold? You could be enlightened tomorrow, this afternoon, as a matter of fact, right now. You stand there. I've heard the most amazing excuses. The most amazing. I'm going to put them in a book. Ranging from, well, I'm working on my college thesis. What? What does that have to do with your enlightenment? Like you have to finish your thesis first? How about you become enlightened and maybe your thesis is even better? These are true stories, by the way. I'm waiting for my kids to graduate. I don't get it. What does enlightenment have to do with your children graduating? These are real answers from supposedly aware people. Waiting for my children to graduate. Okay. But your children are going to stay. They're going to live with you because now they live with you till they're 37 years old. Are you going to wait? You're going to wait and wait and wait. We've had people say, but I'm working on a book. I want to write that first. Or I'm waiting for, my favorite, December 21st, 2012. Okay, wait. Now it's April 2013. What happened to your enlightenment? Some are waiting for the mothership. Truly, they're waiting for the cosmic event, the mothership to come down. They're waiting for whatever, angelic beings, the next Mayan calendar. It's all makyo. Why don't you step over? Why not? I'll tell you. A couple of reasons. One, what if there's nothing there? What if there's absolutely nothing there? That could mean two things. You step into darkness. nothingness. Number 2, you take that step, and it's just the same as yesterday. There is no enlightenment, ascension. Life on Earth was just created by a strange biological episode, and humans developed from dolphins and monkeys, and here you are. And there's really nothing more. That's pretty scary. Easier to stand back here and dream about waking up rather than waking up from your dream. Easier to stand back here, talk about enlightenment with all the macchio that you can muster, and to pretend you're spiritual and go to the mall, the spiritual mall, and buy funny white robes and pretend you're spiritual and take Indian mantra classes and pretend you're not an Indian trying to be spiritual. You're just a human. Wear whatever you want. You don't have to speak in some foreign language or go to the Himalayas. Go to Boulder. It's almost as strange as going to Nepal. But it's just a mile or two down the road. So you stand here at this threshold. What to do? Well, I'll wait. I've got some things I have to take care of. I have to clean the house. Heard a lady tell me that one time. She had to clean the house before she could be awakened. Because what happened, if she died, they came to her house, found it was a sloppy mess, and they would think badly of her. It's like, you're going to be ascended. They'll think really good of you. Stand at the threshold, contemplating, really wondering, are you ready for this human adventure to be over? Because it will be, in the way you've known it. You stand at this doorway and say, crap, sorry, guys, what I really just wanted was a little better human life. I wanted a little bit more money. I wanted to be 10 years younger. I wanted a better partner in my life. And I just wanted to go to the theater more often. That's really all I wanted. Wasn't really serious about this whole enlightenment thing because it's going to absolutely change everything in my life. And it's too late. It's too late. You're not just going to get a couple more dollars and have a little bit younger body and maybe trade up for a new partner in your life. It's not going to happen. Awakening is awakening. Consciousness is a consciousness. Awareness is everything. So you can feel that. You know it. You know the big one's coming. Not this big one, but the big one, the big change is coming. So you're standing there, waiting for somebody to push you through. It's not going to happen. Waiting for an angel to come down the aisle, coming back from the land of enlightenment, and wave to you and say, "Hey, Mark, come on down. Look what's behind door number 3. Not going to happen. There's nothing. Just you. Just you. That's the perfect time to take a deep breath. At this threshold of enlightenment, forget about everything back there. The mall, Macchio Mall, your history. Forget about the beliefs. Forget about all that. Stand at that doorway, that threshold of enlightenment. You take that deep breath and say, I exist. I exist. Funny thing happens. When you can be so bold to do that, stand right there. Say, I exist. I am that I am. I am that I am. Suddenly, the illusion of the doorway goes away. Suddenly, the illusion that there was a threshold goes away. Suddenly, you just are. Because enlightenment is a natural process. Enlightenment is also not polite. It hasn't been on any of you. It's not something, you don't do enlightenment in white robes and little sprinkle dust and nice music. Enlightenment is really bad rock and roll. It is harsh. It will tear you apart. It will bite your head off. It will pursue you into your dreams. It will pursue every single thought in your mind. It will bring up your fears. It will bring up your imbalances. It will bring up all your nasty little aspects that don't like you. It will bring up relationships and issues. And more than anything, it will bring up the big question, can you love yourself? Can you love yourself? And it can't be done politely, at least not right now, at least not in your enlightenment. Maybe future awakening generations, it can be a little smoother for them. But let's tear down the mall before they get there. Let's tear that down. Enlightenment is not polite, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. But polite enlightenment is natural. It is. So, in my parting words on this day, what do you do? What does one do? Well, stop tinkering with your enlightenment. Stop trying to manipulate it. It's all coming from the mind. And all it's going to do is run you in circles and circles. And whatever it happens to be, whatever you're taking or doing or having facilitated on you, whatever guru you're looking up to, whatever outside thing you're trying to connect to, get rid of it. Enlightenment is already there. Awakening is already there. It's how you choose to experience it. It was me. I'm already enlightened, so I don't care. If it was me, I would want to experience enlightenment abundantly, in good health, in freedom and sovereignty. I want to experience enlightenment with grace, true grace. My definition of grace that most of you are going to struggle with. Think about this tomorrow. Grace is simply letting energy serve you. You're not so good at that. Not so good at that. The master can just sit there, not do much of anything except smile, because the master allows energies to serve them. That's grace. The master can just sit there. Everything serves the master. You're not so good with that. You don't let energy serve you. You resist it. You hold back. I don't deserve it, or I'm taking away from somebody else. No. Master is graceful. Energies just come like that. How do you deal with awakening? You let it happen natural. When something happens, you realize that you're creating it. It's part of your awakening. It's not a punishment. It's part of your awakening. When something happens, you realize that this dragon is at work. And the dragon actually is just you. And the dragon really wants to love you. The dragon does. Cares about you. It just wants to facilitate the awakening. The dragon doesn't want to see you slipping back into hypnosis, back into lack of freedom. Lack of freedom. Dragon doesn't want to see you just standing at that doorway, doing nothing. You realize that everything that happens, everything that happens in your life right now is energy serving you, whether you realize it or not, is about enlightenment. Now, you can from that, make the conscious choice, say, let's experience enlightenment in a little different way. You can start choosing. You can start consciously choosing. There'll come a point for some of you, hopefully for all of you, that you'll realize that this is the best time of your life, of all your lives actually, which really aren't yours, but this is the best time. The most intense, of course. The most traumatic indeed. But this is the best time. Oh, and I know you were going to tell me, but I don't have any passion. No. The dragon got rid of your old, crappy, human mental passion so that the real passion could come in. And you're going to say, yeah, but my life is such a mess. Good. I needed to stir things up to get you out of the hypnosis. This is the best time. The amazing thing is you've already awakened. Just yet don't know how you did. You've already ascended. You're just in your experience of getting there. You're in the process of filling the cup. That's it. It's been a delight and an honor to be here with you today. And Linda's telling me actually there is a mall shopping center close by here. You don't need to go running over there afterwards. And when you go from this weekend, you go back to your homes, you go back into your mid-level jobs tomorrow. Just remember one thing. When you start to panic and you get in a little fear and you get that anxiety, just remember, A, don't take medication for the anxiety, and B, all is well in all of creation. I am that I am. I exist. I am Adamus. Thank you.